Hi, my name is Mohdan, and in this video I will be talking about the most important institution of the Malaysian legal system, the Federal Court of Malaysia. It is also known as the highest court in the country. In this video I'll explain the Malaysian court system, the background structure of the Federal Court, its functions and jurisdictions, and finally I will share three actual cases that the court has decided. Let's begin with short explanation of Malaysian judicial system. Malaysia has a well-organized court system. It is divided to superior courts and subordinate courts. The superior courts include the Federal Court, the Court of Appeal, and two high courts, the Peninsular Malaysia and one for Sabah and Sarawak. The subordinate courts are the session courts and the magistrates courts, which deal with smaller civil and criminal cases. Now I want to talk about the background of the Federal Court. The Federal Court has a long story. It started during the time when Malaysia was under British colonial rule. After independence in 1957, the court became more local and national. At first, it was known as the Supreme Court of the Malaysia, but later it was the Federal Court under the Federal Constitution. The Federal Court is located in Putrajaya and is considered of the last resort. This means that once a case reaches the Federal Court and the decision made, it is no higher court to appeal. So now I'm gonna talk about the Federal Court structure. The Federal Court is led by the Chief Justice of Malaysia and the highest ranking judge in the country. Other important members of the court include the President of Appeal, the Judge of Malaysia, the Chief of Judge of Sabah and Sarawak, and several Federal Court judges. There are three main functions of the Federal Court. The first one is the hearing appeals. That means the most common role of the Federal Court is to hear appeal from the Court of Appeal. This means when someone is not satisfied with a decision from a lower courts, they can bring their case to the Federal Court for a final decision. The second function is handling constitutional matters. The court also deals with issues related to the federal constitution. For example, if there is a question about whether a law is valid or not under the constitution, the federal court will make the decision about this. The third and final main function of the federal court is giving advice or opinion. Sometimes the king of the Malaysia may ask the federal court to give an opinion on a legal question. This is called advisory jurisdiction. The court gives advice to help people in the country's leaders in legal matters. And now I want to talk about some jurisdictions of the Federal Court. Exactly three of them. The Federal Court has three types of jurisdictions: original jurisdiction, appellate jurisdiction, advisory jurisdiction. Original jurisdictions is the court original jurisdiction is when the court can hear certain types of cases directly, such as disputes between states or between the federal government and state, cases where someone's constitutional rights are involved. The second one, appellate jurisdictions. This means when the court hears appeals from the Court of Appeal. but not every case can be appealed. Only cases with important legal questions or where leave is granted. And the final one is advisory jurisdiction. Uh, in this mentioned before, this is when the Yang Di Pertuan Agong asks the court to give its opinion on the legal matter after consulting with the cabinet. So now I want to talk, as I said, I want to give some three of the cases heard on the federal court before. First is about Elma Nudo Atenze versus public prosecutor in 20 in 2019. In this case, Alma was charged under the anti-money laundering law. The federal court decided that part of the law is unconstitutional because it allowed the person to be punished before the federal court makes a decision. So the outcome was that part of the law protecting the rights of a Malaysian to get a fair trial. This means that this uh, anti-money laundering law was revoked. So the second one is about Indira Ganji versus Director of Islamic Affairs in 2018. The case involved a mother whose ex-husband converted his children to Islam without her permission. But she challenged this in court. The decision was that federal court ruled that both parents must agree for a child to be converted, and the impact was that the court protected the rights of non-Muslim parents and made it clear to civil have the authority in such matters. And the final one, the Maria Sheen Abdullah versus Inspector General of Police in 2021. Maria, a politician and activist, was detained under a security law while preparing for a peaceful protest, but the federal court ruled that her arrest was unlawful and violated her rights. And the impact was that the court supported the freedom of speech and peaceful assembly. So I think I have talked about the main parts of the Malaysian federal court, and now I want to give my conclusion about this. The Federal Court of Malaysia plays a very serious and powerful role in the legal system of the Malaysia. It protects the constitutions, ensures justice, and safeguards human rights for all Malaysians. From hearing final appeals to deciding constitutional matters, this court helps to maintain balance, order, and fairness in the country. It also gives people hope that justice will be served, especially when lower courts fail. Personally, I believe that court is a very effective, and but it's not perfect, but it often makes brave decisions that protect the people and defend the rule of law. We need this. I think Malaysians need this court to remain independent, honest, and strong without justice, uh, and strong, because without justice there can be no peace. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for listening, and thanks for your attention.